So here we are in my office, and we've laid out this little demonstration of how we're going to use the quick wire and the Keko, please forgive me for the pronunciation, downlights, and how we're going to connect them all together with a very light switch. Come on with me and I'll show you how all of that would put together. So just for this demonstration of how we're going to wire this all together, we have got two downlights from Keko. Excuse my pronunciation, someone can tell me if I got that wrong. But these are the F-type compact fixed downlights, and as you can see, these ones have got push-fit connectors for the conductors on all of them, which is brilliant, which is great. So we've got the quick wire connectors, we've got the switch and load, which we're going to use, and because we're going to be wiring up two downlights, we're going to be using the splitter as well. That we would normally use, we're going to mount it onto the joists. That's what we'd use, and that, in case we get it wrong, we have to disconnect it all. Now these connections are maintenance free. I'll bring that up. See that, maintenance free on these, and that's the tool that you'd use to take them off. And the stripping tool from Quickwire as well, which we'll use. So these junction boxes, let's start with the switch and load. So the main power feed will come into here, the main line feed will come into here. If you're going off to other rooms, use that to go onto the other rooms. This will go down to your switch, so you've got your switch line there and your normal line there with your earth and CPC in the middle. So your neutral there, neutral blue there, line brown there. On the other side is the load, that's what would go off to your light. And in this particular case, this load is actually going to go, put that down, to this. This is going to the splitter. So you're going to have your load coming from, there we go, from this one. I'll just turn that over, there we go. So the load from this one is going to go into this splitter, and then from this splitter you're going to take the load feeds over to the light. So you can do as many as 3 downlights from this. If you're doing any more than 3 downlights, what you'd have to do is get another splitter and move off, and each splitter would power 2 downlights. Okay, it'll probably make more sense when I get those on. So the switch line for this demonstration would end up on this dimmer switch. Right, so the very first thing I'm going to simulate here is the line feed coming from either another room or coming directly from the consumer unit. So that load, that line, that cable is going to come into, it's going to come into the switch and load. So let's move this out of the way. We don't need that at the moment. So we're going to put into here, we're going to simulate the cable coming up from the previous light or from the consumer unit into here. Then we're going to simulate another cable coming out of here, which is going on to the next room. Right, so I'm just going to cut a piece of 1.5mm cable, or a couple of bits of 1.5mm cable, just to simulate this. 1, 2. Let's put that down out of the way. Now, the quick wire tool is really quite clever with this. So you get your, let's see if I can zoom this in. So you'd get your 1.5mm cable with your quick wire tool. So hopefully it comes in. Whoa, there we go. Okay. As you can see, there's a 22mm mark. Put your cable up to the 22mm mark, like that, squeeze trigger, and it strips the cable for you. Let's take that off there. Here's the cable all stripped. But then, do it again. But the tool up against the sheath and cut again. What that's now done is those conductors are now the correct length to go into the quick wire. And take hold of that, and what you're going to do, turn it over. Nope, sorry, got it wrong way. I had the right way around to start with. So you're going to get those. I'm going to push them, whoops, a second. I'm going to push them into there. Push them home, push it in, and that's done. No copper shown, absolutely the right length. Let's do that again. We'll do it on the other side, so we're simulating the load going on to another room now. Smooth that out of the way just a minute. So you get the quick wire tool. I'm just going to, a bit difficult to do it when you're behind the camera. There we go. Strip it, put away the sheath, put it back on again, cut again, move that out of the way. Push it home, squeeze it in, done. So that wire there. So there you go. So we've now simulated. The load. Sorry, not the load. The power feed coming in from the consumer unit or another room, then heading off to another room. All done. What would you do if you got that round the wrong way? Which I nearly did. You saw me do that. I nearly got it round the wrong way. Well, that is where this tool comes in. Because these are maintenance-free junction boxes, it actually stipulates in the regulations that there must be a tool needed in order to disconnect the cables, and that's what this does. So let's just say I've got the top one wrong. Those lugs fit into there, you push it in, squeeze and push, hopefully. See, I've located those lugs on there, you should be able to see that. Push and it's released it. Pull the cable out. Get it round the right way, just push them back close so they go in. Push it back in. Done. Simple as that. Right, so let's, as I say, in this particular case, we're going to be hooking this up to these two downlights. Let's hook this up as if we're going to this switch. So there's the switch line, normal line. Let's cut another couple of lengths of 1.5 cable. Again, exactly the same procedure as before. Grab your quick wire tool, push it through to the 22, pull that out, bring it back into the sheath, cut it again, strip it again rather. That's done. Now, remember what I said about the lighting. The neutral here is going to be your switched line. So your blue will go into your LS. Your line will go into line. Okay, so push that in, and that's done. Now, at the other end, obviously what you'd normally do, and I will show this when we go to install this, at this end of the cable, obviously you would sheath the blue neutral with a brown piece of sleeving to indicate that it's a switched line. And don't forget to do that. So we're done there. So now we've got to hook up these lights. So the next thing we need to do is we need to hook this with that. So on the load side, let's just move that out. There we go. So on the load side, we're now going to connect that load to one of these connections here. Another piece of cable. Right, same thing. Strip the end. There we go. Put it in again. Strip. There we go. So that's done. So now we're going to take the low, or better just do the other end, so it makes it easier for the demonstration. So put it up to 22. Put it in again. There we go, done. So we're going to take the load. I put it the wrong way out then, didn't I? Oh, that's CPC is a little bit bent. There we go. Oh no, that's not going to do that time. Yeah, nearly had that earth in the live there. All right, there we go. Let's try that. That's better. I'm not so sure that went in properly then. You might have noticed. I don't think that went in right. So I'm just going to take that off camera just a second. You can see there, when you're pushing this in, make sure that the sheath goes in at least about halfway before these start to go in. If not, these conductors haven't gone all the way in. I'll just push that in now. There, done. So what we need to do now is bend this cable round. Ooh, bend this cable round. It will look neater when it's installed for real. Shove this into here. That's a technical term for push it in. And again, that's not going right. Hang on, let's try that again. There we go. So the load now we've got going to the splitter. So now we need to run 2 more cables off this, which are going to go to the lights. So let's just try and go through what I've actually achieved here, shall we? So we've got simulated. We've got a simulated power feed coming in from the consumer unit or from another room, then heading off to the rest of the house. On the other side, that lower one is going off to the switch. So we've got the neutral conductor connected into the switch line. That will normally be brown sleeved and heads off to the light. The load is connected in the usual way, blue and brown, so you can see in the middle. That's heading off to the splitter, and the splitter's load is then heading off to the 2 downlights. So I hope that helps. I hope that's a bit informative about how this all works. I do think these quick wires make life for electricians a lot easier. Yes, laid out like this, you might be thinking, what's the benefit between that and using normal junction boxes? Well, I hope that when we actually do this for real, you will see the benefit, the real benefit for these things. But I hope you can see that there is a benefit to them.